Welcome back to Crane & Company. I'm David Cohn. I'm here with the Flaming Dragon himself. Blaine Crane, and we are very honored to have a very, very special guest here for you, the godfather of the fight game, Mr. Dana White. Thank you for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it.
Dan, appreciate it, man. Absolutely.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
First of all, let me welcome you to Nashville, man. We're new residents of Tennessee.
Yeah.
We're excited to have you here.
Oh, you guys are just moved here?
New residents of Tennessee.
This is like one of the hottest cities in the country right now, man.
It is.
I love it here. So we haven't been here with a live event in a minute, so it's good to be back, but I love this town.
Well, as you expand the business to more cities and more countries, you know, what are the biggest challenges that you face to get the UFC taken off in more countries?
Well, it's not even about expanding, and we've been everywhere over the last whatever, but since COVID, it's going back to certain cities now.
Sure.
Now we're going back after long layoffs, and you know, we've been selling out every event since we came back from COVID. This is sold out here tomorrow night. Then in 2 weeks, next week we're back in Vegas, then we go back to Boston. And Boston sold out. It's been fun, man. It's been fun hitting a lot of these cities that we haven't been to in a minute.
Your old stomping grounds, Boston.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Blaine and I were talking on the way over here about we were talking about Fight Club, and there's a quote in there that's like,
how much can you know about yourself if you've never been in a fight?
how much truth is there to that?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely the truth. The balls that it takes to train and then get inside that cage over there with the whole world watching and test your skills against somebody else who has trained just as hard and is just as good as you is that's why there's only a handful of people in the world that actually do it.
Do you think people are born fighters or do they become fighters?
No. You're born a fighter. You either have it or you don't. You know, there's people that can get out there and train and become more confident, right? Because you see a lot of these guys that end up becoming martial artists or whatever it is, were bullied when they were younger. They got into a martial art and they trained. And but to be a real fighter, to be a fighter, you're born with that shit. They're built and wired differently than everybody else is.
I think.
You think that's you? You think
hands down, that's me, 100%. hey, born in the blood. Come on now.
You know what? There's different types. You can look at different types of fighters in different walks of life. You can be a fighter in whatever it is that you do, but to be a true fighter, to go in there or to go into a ring or any other shape and test yourself against somebody else is
and I think like as a man, like fighting is good. Like a lot of people just look at fighting so bad. I don't think if we've had fighting like these guys that are born like this, like who knows what they'd be doing.
A lot of these guys in the UFC, you know, come from dark places.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for this outlet, they'd probably be doing something
and
not very positive.
Hey, masculinity is so frowned upon these days. We need this stuff.
Well, we both played college football, which is different, but there are still physical consequences to your actions and to the actions of teammates, which I think is such a great character builder. You know, anytime the name Dana White comes up on our show, I say something similar, which is the sports organizations around the world would be better off if Dana White were the commissioner. You know, what can other sports leagues learn from your success and the success of the UFC?
Listen, when I look at a lot of these other leagues, like the NFL, you know, a lot of the fans criticize the NFL a lot. And, you know, I don't love 100% of the things they do. But at the end of the day, it's none of my business. All I got to do is run my... NFL keeps going like this, though. I mean,
They do.
It's such a great sport. It's you know, when you start rolling into football season again, and you know, you got your teams, and it's fun, and it's never going to be a global sport during the rest of our lifetimes. But you know, I think it's tougher because, you know, you have the league, right? And then you have all these other owners. You know, so there's so many people that have their hands in the pot and can make decisions or have their opinions on how things should be done. It's much tougher to run and organize. I'm the end-all, be-all right here. You know what I mean?
There you go.
What I say goes, and you know, I pretty much run the league. And the thing that is pretty cool, and you saw it through COVID. All of our fighters are like-minded. You know, we all are pretty much wired and built the same way. So there wasn't a lot of, you know, when I said we're going to go through COVID,
boom.
My employees, the fighters, everybody was ready to run through COVID.
And there's a level of comfortability that comes to that. One of the coolest things, still, hands down, one of the coolest things I've seen is when you walk out with President Trump. You know, what's it like, one, just walking out with him and, you know, sitting ringside, going... Like betting-wise, I've heard some crazy stories. Is there any cool story you got that you can tell us? You know, I know you can't go too deep.
No, listen, I love the guy. He and I have been very good friends for a long time. and we've become even closer since he became president. You know, the guy was always good to me. Mm-hmm. Trump brand was here, UFC brand was here. This guy has always been a good friend to me. So when he called me, however many years ago it was, and said, hey, this is how he started the conversation. If you don't want to do this, I completely understand. Yeah. No hard feelings, all good, but I'd be honored if you'd speak at the National Republican Convention with me. And you know how many people told me not to do it? Don't do this, don't get involved in this, yada, yada. This guy's been a good friend to me. Why would I not do this? Yeah. Did it, and he and I have become even closer since then. And you know, I try to tell people all the time what a good dude he is, but at the end of the day, what he really is a huge fight fan. I mean, this guy is a massive fight fan. He loves the fights. He called me a few days ago after the Utah fight.
Yeah.
You know, talking about Gaethje and Poirier. And yeah, so to walk out with him, it's a blast. Dude. I love it. The place erupts. People go crazy when he walks in. The whole arena's standing on their feet with their cell phones out. And yeah, I love the guy.
It's always good to see solidarity, especially these days.
Man, I want to talk about Power Slap. Yep. This thing has taken off around the world. How did you get involved, and what's the future of this sport?
So back in like 17 or 18, you know, this stuff started popping up on social media. It was coming out of Russia and Poland. And I was looking at it, I was like, this is crazy. So I took a deeper dive into it, and I was looking at it. First of all, the stuff looked like it was filmed on a flip phone in a barn somewhere. The guys were literally slapping over a barrel.
You sent it to me.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I know.
And I started to look at the numbers, and it was pulling like 350 million views on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's like a Justin Bieber video. Yeah. How is this pulling this many numbers? So I started to get into it. So right before COVID, you know, I called my old partner, Lorenzo Fertitta, and said, hey, I'm getting into this slap thing. I like it. I'm thinking about starting a league. You want to go with me? He's like, I'm in. So then COVID hits. We get out of COVID. I got to figure out COVID. Then we get out of COVID, and I said, I'm going to start. I'm going to start this thing. And boom, it is. When I tell you this is the biggest thing on social media, man, the numbers this thing pulls is incredible. And because of that, you know, we have tons of sponsors. Yeah. The live event, we're still playing with the live event and making some tweaks. This is going to be our 4th event. To be there live, it's an incredibly insane, fun event. And then everybody that goes, it's invitation only. Then afterward, we go out and we have a big party after at Red Rock. It's a good time. You guys got to come out and check out an event.
Man, let it be said, let it be done.
And the future, when you talk about the future, in India, we're pulling 300 million views in India, 100 million in Indonesia, just launched in China and pulled massive numbers, 40 million in Russia, 30 million in Brazil. It's already in 6 months a global sport.
The numbers don't lie, man.
Numbers do not lie.
God, I wonder if I could take a slap. Danny, you think I could take a slap?
Well, you played football, so you got to have a pretty good chin.
You got a good chin on me. I've got some concussions, you know.
We can find out.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there's one way to find out.
There's one way to find out, man.
I've always wanted to know, and you probably get this question a lot. On our show, we kind of do, in baseball, how long would it take for you to get a hit off a Major League pitcher? In basketball, how long would it take for you to score against LeBron James? How long would it take for me to get knocked out in that octagon?
Yeah.
Under 10? We talking 10 seconds? Maybe a minute?
Well, obviously it's going to depend on who.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, I would bet in under 25 seconds. You got to have the engagement first.
Yeah.
First it has to be engagement, or it could run and fly and knee like
25
Derek
seconds, man.
Last weekend. One head kick.
Oh, that head kick
one
last
spinning
weekend.
elbow.
Oh, God. I just think I don't want to get kicked in the calf. Oh, my God. Dude, you can hear that from miles away.
Brilliant. Actually brilliant. You're right. One leg kick.
I'm done.
And you'd be done. You wouldn't even have to get knocked out. One leg kick.
Oh, my God. I can see that. And what I want your opinion on this. You've basically invented the game. What is the best, because we just saw weigh-ins and face-offs. What's the craziest face-off you've ever been a part of?
It would have to be John Jones versus Daniel Cormier. Yeah. It was in the lobby of the MGM Grand in Vegas, and they literally got into a full-blown fist fight in the middle of the lobby. And, you know, people are checking in.
Yeah.
You know, people saved up for 2 years to come to Vegas. And John Jones and Cormier are fighting in the lobby. You know, then it goes, then you can start getting into Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz. Yeah. Conor McGregor, Habib.
Yeah.
You know, there's been a lot of crazy ones.
The Habib one was wild.
Have you ever thought if you could make a fight with any two fighters throughout history, you know, who would it be? Like, what would you like to promote there? just
That's
the
what I've
two
been doing for the last 23 years.
Like if you could make any match.
But I mean, if you could go back in time, it's so hard to, when you think about what I do and in my sport, I'm a huge Tyson fan. I was with Tyson all day yesterday.
Yeah.
And I've been friends with him for almost 25 years now.
Yeah.
And still, when this dude walks in the room, you're like, holy shit.
I want to see him fight.
It's Mike Tyson. I have the best job in the world. So every time a new, savage comes along, I get to figure out who he's going to fight. Hamzat Chimaev and Paulo Costa. They're going to fight in Abu Dhabi in October.
Hamzat, last fight we were watching Hamzat, he came over to your side of the ring just to say, hey, I'm that guy, man.
100%.
Put me in the big fights. He's fun to watch.
Well, there's these little things that when you do what I do, we're in the lockdown, COVID, we're over on Fight Island in Abu Dhabi, and this kid that nobody's ever seen or heard of comes out and destroys this guy in seconds. And then he gets up on the mic and says, I want to fight again next weekend.
Doesn't matter, give me one guy, I'm gonna smash him, like today.
And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. And my matchmakers are like, no, you can't fight a guy. I said, he's fighting next weekend.
Love it.
Get him a fight. So we fight him next weekend, and look at the guy blows up and becomes a huge star, and he's one fight away from the title now. So if he beats Paulo Costa in October, imagine him versus Israel Adesanya anywhere in the world.
We got that question the other day.
So when you ask me about making fights, this is what I get to do every Tuesday.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. You brought up Mike Tyson. I want to ask you about boxing quickly because boxing is one of your first loves. I love boxing too. I find myself watching it less and less, though I'm watching your product more. What is the sport of boxing getting wrong right now?
Well, the problem is because there's less and less good fights. That's why. And they happen very seldom does a good fight happen in boxing. So everybody always asks me, how do you fix it? How do you fix it? And everybody thinks I'm out of it now. Like I'm not interested in that anymore. I got something brewing. I'm working on something.
All right.
So we'll see how this plays out. But the way that you fix it is what we did here in the UFC. The best always have to fight the best. And what I like about a guy like Crawford right now is like Crawford's willing to take these fights. And I don't know how true this is. I heard this a couple days ago that Crawford is taking these fights on the come. Like he's saying, he's getting no guarantee and he's just taking upside. Brilliant.
I love
Absolutely brilliant.
It was a show he put on the other night.
Is this show online or is this on TV?
Oh, you're good, bro.
Sorry.
Swear away.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Fucking Friday.
Yeah.
Tell us about Fucking Friday,
When they're
man.
swearing, now I know.
How did Fucking Friday start? Food is the great unifier, man.
You're keto, right?
It's the great.
You look phenomenal. I mean, come on.
You're looking
You gotta
good,
flex
man.
and bust out of that shirt.
I'm keto now except for Friday.
Yeah, I love it.
So how this started was I ended up doing this thing for social media one day where I took two Krispy Kreme donuts. I love fried chicken.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
you did.
Who doesn't?
And I put a piece of this great fried chicken. There's this great fried chicken place called Mama Bird's in Vegas. So I took a piece of their chicken in between two Krispy Kremes, and it was awesome. And I put it up on social media, and it pulled crazy numbers, right?
Yeah.
So we started. That's how It Friday began. And you're right. The one thing is not everybody is a fan of fighting, but everybody loves food.
It's
the
a great
unifier,
connector.
man.
Yeah, it's
So
a great
true.
connector.
Got anything else?
Did you have anything Fucking Friday today? Did you?
Yeah, we did today. So since we're in Nashville and the Ultimate Fighters run, and Michael Chandler has this company that he started, and it's this healthy like peanut butter mix thing. So we made.
Okay.
I take things healthy and f it up and make it unhealthy. So we turned it into a PB&J donut.
Oh God,
That's what I
really?
say. Yeah,
that sounds so good.
it was incredible. It was incredible.
Talk about Ultimate Fighter, McGregor, Chandler. We gonna get that fight?
We're working on it, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're running this whole season of The Ultimate Fighter. To not do that fight would be ridiculous, but
Sure.
we're working on it. I'm hoping we can do it early next year.
Okay,
Yeah.
early next year. Good. Anything you want to tell our audience about what's coming down the pipe for UFC the rest of the year?
Well, I mean, every time we go into a new year, as we start to get into the later part of the year, you start to get into August, September, October, November, it's when all the big fights that, we had the fights early in the year. Now it all starts to roll over, and the big fights everybody's been waiting for. We're coming into Boston in 2 weeks. That card is sick and going to be fun. Then we roll into Abu Dhabi in October, and we're saying Hamzat Chimaev, Islam Makhachev will be back. Then we're going into November at Madison Square Garden with John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. And then we always end the year with a big December fight. So
I love it.
Yeah, the rest of the year is going to be badass.
John Jones is a problem.
Yeah.
A problem. One of the best ever.
Undefeated. Never been beaten ever in this sport. Is unbelievable.
He's so good. First of all, he's so big.
Mm-hmm.
He's so big and so athletic.
The greatest of all time.
You know, I mean,
There you
his brother is Chandler Jones, like from the Patriots, who's a problem.
And his other brother played for the Ravens and won a Super
That's
Bowl
right.
too.
That's right. God.
What's his other brother's name? Jones. Arthur. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
Arthur
Good
Jones.
God.
Runs in the
Yeah.
genes.
Talking about
baby.
a family argument.
Sorry,
that's
Arthur.
I'd want to get.
Yeah.
Dana White, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Man. This was
Appreciate
an
it, man. You're
absolute
badass,
honor.
Dana.
Thanks,
You
guys.
heard it
Thanks for
there.
having me.
All right, check us out.
Appreciate it, man. That was
Man,
awesome.
that was awesome, dude.
Pleasure.
Can we do a face-off photo?
Yeah, I love that.